This is Lori from Cruising for Treasure, and you are watching my What Sold show. So if you are new here, welcome. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you get alerted to all of our new videos. Welcome again. And I am a reseller. I sell on, eBay, Poshmark, Facebook, and Mercari. And a couple times a week I upload videos and I show you what I have sold. And the idea behind the channel is just to give everybody a realistic, almost real-time view of what is currently moving in the online reselling world. We all love the hauls, which hopefully you just watched the one I posted earlier this week. If you haven't, go ahead and watch it. We all love the hauls. We love the highlight reels. We love the, ooh, I sold this for $1,100 and I paid 10 cents at a yard sale. But that, unfortunately, is not reality. Reality is more like I paid $10 and sold it for $30, or I paid $8 and sold it for $25, something along those lines. So what I'm going to show you today is kind of, what sold this weekend. And just looking through, it really is kind of a hodgepodge of really great sales and then, just average run-of-the-mill. So let's get started, shall we? I actually had some great sales on Poshmark, which I'm thrilled about. But let's see, you know what? I'm gonna get the first one out of the way. This is Facebook. I actually had a shipping sale on Facebook. So if you didn't know, you can set up your Facebook Marketplace account to allow to ship items, and it's very easy, not a problem. I love doing it. I don't get many sales that way, but it's fine. So this is Goosebumps, a vintage paperback book, and this sold for $6. They pay shipping, and yeah, so that's pretty cool. And I did also have a Facebook Marketplace pickup this weekend, and I sold some Pier 1 cast iron candlesticks for $20. I had several people messaging me about other items, but of course, no sales. So that's the frustrating thing about Facebook, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so the first item that I have on eBay is this pair of Spanx leather-like culottes is what they called them, just wide leg cropped pants. Those sold for $42. They are new with tags, size large, and I believe I picked those up at Savers. Let's see, the next item on eBay that sold this is the brand that every reseller loves to find, Rothy's. Now, they're not all gonna be great. They're not all gonna sell quickly, but it is a good brand to find. And these, I really don't think they were ever worn. They're in fantastic condition. They're size 6. So this is the loafer in sandstone, and I sold them for $30. I got them at Savers. Now, I did pay up a little bit because I knew they would sell. And so when you know something is gonna sell, and there's, just no question about it, you kind of don't mind paying up a little bit for it because you're going to get your money back. So I did pay $6, but it was listed less than a week. So there you have it. And I mean, honestly, $6 for a pair of shoes to sell for $30 is not necessarily paying up in my book, but okay, the next item that sold, and this is a little bit of a shame on me moment. We all have them. I had a stack of stuff, still do for that matter, of stuff in the garage that I had picked up from an auction, and we just didn't have room in the house, so we just shoved it there. Ugh. And then I finally got around to processing and listing it, and oh my word, so much money was sitting out there. This is the first item that has sold from that. This is a Brooks Brothers navy 100% wool blazer with the gold buttons. That sold for $40. So right there off the bat, we've got it going on. And I hope that the other items sell quickly as well. That would be amazing. $40 from an online auction. The next item, this was from a thrift store. I paid $3 or $4 for it, and it's Thomas and Friends. It's from 2001, so it is vintage. This is Derek. It's a wooden train. This sold for $35. And you may remember, if you've watched any of my other shows, I got quite a few new in package cars and vehicles at that time from this thrift store. I paid $2 to $3 each item. One of the trains or trucks, or some trucks, I think, sold for like $90 immediately. So I've made a lot of money already from that haul, from that thrift store. So amazing. I love it so much. Okay. The next item that I'm going to show you is a vintage postcard. I love selling my vintage postcards. I don't make a ton of money from them, but this one sold for $5.94. I do have a 15% off sale currently running in my store, and so that is reflected in some of these prices. And some of them are just straight up offers from people, but then others just paid, my 15% off sale outright. So $5.94. This is a Romanian girl photographed there in her traditional costume. So that's pretty cool. And it is unposted. So the next item to sell was this pair of OOFUS slides, and these are size 8 women's. All right, let me just check that. Yes, size 8 women's. They weren't in the best of condition, so I honestly did not price them very high. I priced them at $20, and they sold on my sale. They sold for $16.99, and this is a great brand as well to pick up. I'm just trying to see. Okay, here's the logo, the label, OOFUS. They have quite a variety of styles of shoes out there, so make sure you keep your eye out for those. All right, next is this pair of shoes, Vivaya. This pair sold for $39. I kind of went through this phase where I just kept finding this brand at the thrift store, and I was very disappointed because I never found it in my size. So I ended up having to order these online, not this style, but for an upcoming trip that I have, I had to order them online. Why can't you find what you want in the thrift store for yourself in your size? I don't know. Anyway, $39. This brand actually has a cult following. I didn't realize it until I started researching them for myself to purchase, but these are worn right now, currently, by celebrities. They're, photographed with all of their, I guess they came out with a new style for summer travel, and it's just the hot shoe. So Vivaya, I don't expect this brand to go anywhere anytime soon. It is kind of difficult to find them. You cannot necessarily buy them in store, or it's very difficult to buy them in store. They are mainly purchased online. So keep that in mind. Let's see. Next, I sold a bra. This sold for $16.99. The brand is Elomi, and again, that was part of my 15% off sale. The size is a 40G, and it's just, it's a really pretty bra. $16.99. I always look through the bras. I do try to restrict myself to just new with tags, and sometimes I get other ones as well if the price is right, but for the most part, I do try to stick with new tags because obviously your profit margin is better with that. So now moving on to my Poshmark sales, which are super great, so stay tuned, keep watching. Let's see, the first one, we're gonna start off with the Bummer sale. This is just an American Eagle striped metallic thread shirt. This sold for $10. Nothing fantastic. I'm sure I must have gotten this in a lot somewhere and I just decided to sell it, or I bought it for my kids and they didn't want it, something like that. Anyway, $10, it's out of my life. Here we go. The next item that I have is this brand Herschel, which they can have really good items. This is not necessarily a really great item, but it did sell for $34, and simply because it is a discontinued bag, and it's got like the leather straps, a canvas part, and whatever. So yeah, it's not super fantastic, but $34, there we go. Next this is awesome. Okay, if you guys ever see Ralph Lauren new in the package linens, buy them. Don't even ask any questions, just buy them. They will be worth money. So this particular sheet I got at one of my thrift stores. I went in and they had, I think, 4 of these types of sheets. Different variations, but all similar. And they were $10 each. I didn't even look them up. I just put them straight into my basket. Didn't even say a word. The problem is that there are very few of this listed, and I didn't want to flood the market by listing all 4 at the same time. So I listed them, and then as I sell them, then I list another one. So this is, I think, the 3rd one to sell. So I have one more, which I have to find. I'm not sure exactly where it is. Anyway, so it's a jacquard satin kind of, what's it say? Egyptian cotton sateen California King fitted sheet made in Israel. So this sold for $150. I had it priced, originally I had it priced for $400 because that is what it is worth. However, it's only worth as much as someone will actually pay. And I've reduced the price. It's been listed for 2 years, which is normal for Ralph Lauren vintage sheets that are new in package, because you have to find the right buyer who's willing to pay a lot of money. I got an offer for $150 on Poshmark, sold. I paid $10 for it. So I'm quite happy to sell it for $150. That's money back into my business, product out the door, and someone is very happy because they're gonna get an absolutely gorgeous sheet for a really great price. So now, we've kind of been doing the ups and downs, and so, oh my goodness, I left it downstairs. Oh no! Oopsies. Okay, I'll just have to describe it to you, okay? But first, here is Spanx Power Panties, size C. These sold for $13. I do pick these up every time I see them. I pay $2 to $3. Yes, I'm only gonna get $5 to $7 back. However, they will always sell. And maybe not in 2 or 3 days, but they will always sell. They take up very little space. So I'm quite happy to have a lower profit margin with a guaranteed sale. The next thing I have is this pair of Allbirds Tree Runner size 9 tennis shoes. And I don't actually remember where I got these from. Let me look that up because they did sell for $34, which is pretty great. I don't really pick up Allbirds these days just because they're really not worth a whole bunch of money. I paid $4 and I got them from an online auction. So $4. So after my cost of goods and fees from Poshmark, I made $23.20. That is fantastic. If every sale could have that kind of profit margin, that would be incredible. And that is, my profit margin there is 68.24%. That's pretty great. Okay, the item that I left downstairs that I didn't bring is a Lafayette 148 jacket, and it's size 16. The fabric used to make this is Loro Piana. So if you've never heard of that, imprint that in your brain because that fabric is very expensive. It's very costly. So any item that you can find that uses that wool is going to sell for a considerable amount of money. My jacket sold for $70. I have seen Loro Piana in Brooks Brothers. I've seen Loro Piana just its own brand. And if you've ever been in a store, it's absolutely heavenly. Everything is just so beautiful. The fabrics are just, it's just gorgeous. So anyway, keep your eye out for those for sure. But this was a Lafayette 148, like a blazer, and it sold for $70. And I picked this up from Goodwill and I paid $8.50. So that's an incredible profit margin. So in closing today, if you are a reseller who is just trying to start out, trying to figure out what in the world to buy and all of that, there are a couple things to keep in mind. You do want to make sure that your sell-through rate is pretty good, which means that for the amount of items that are currently listed on eBay, when you search it by solds, the amount sold is as close to that number or greater as possible. The further below that number it is, the longer your item is going to take to sell. So for example, if there's currently 100 listed of my Lafayette 148 jacket with the Loro Piana wool, if there's 100 listed, but then there's 50 sold, it might take a while for my item to sell. However, if there's 100 listed and 150 sold, that means I'm a guaranteed sale pretty quickly. So keep an eye on that. But then also, I know this is kind of counter to what a lot of other resellers do, but if I know an item is guaranteed to sell, like I said with Spanx, I always sell my Spanx, no matter what they are. Pantyhose, leather like culotte cropped pants, power panties, they all sell, especially if they're new with tags. I'm talking about new with tags here. Then I don't mind a smaller profit margin, a lower profit margin, because it's a guaranteed sale. If it's something that there's 100,000 listed on eBay and there's only 10,000 sold, yeah, I'm not going to waste my money on a $10 item that I'm hoping to sell for $20. That's just not good business. But if it's a guaranteed sale, I know for sure that brand is just going to sell no matter what, then it's a little bit better to take a greater risk. And just also think about a store like Walmart. Walmart or Target, whichever, a department store, they have a wide range of price points. They have, the very high, they have the very low. They have hundreds of dollars for one item, or they have, a $5 item. Now I'm moving away. I don't want to sell $5 items other than my postcards. So I'm not necessarily saying to do that, but I don't mind having such a wide range because that means that I am attracting a wider range of customers in the long run. So I don't like to get boxed into a specific, I must have a profit of $20 on every item I sell. I do think that's good for some people, that's fine, but for me, I really struggle in that. I can't have too many restrictions on what I'm shopping for. So anyway, that may or may not help you. I don't know. And honestly, I don't know if it's a great business model for everybody, but for me, it's what's working. And we are, every time I'm out shopping, every time I'm like sourcing from online auctions, I'm trying to kind of fine tune, do more research, get better and improve my business. So follow along on the journey, see if it's working. Because after all, this year's motto is spend more. No, I'm getting it backwards. Spend less, sell more. So follow along on the journey, see how it's working out for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure that you do hit the like and the subscribe button. And just as a programming note and a heads up, we will be going away on our spring break. And so we will not be recording any videos during that time. So there will be a lag between when this video uploads and the next one comes. So might I suggest our Hoarder House Haul playlist if you haven't watched those yet, or perhaps our Pickup and Coffee show if you haven't watched any of those episodes. That'll give you your fix until we're back on the air. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.